Hello, impact makers. I am Amelia Harshfield. I help entrepreneurs who are making an impact become more resilient so they can make a bigger impact. That looks like working on things like stress and anxiety. And often, what is happening underneath the stress and anxiety is likely some fears that's driving that. So we sort through that, figure out what's going on with them so they don't have the same stress and anxiety moving forward. Because as an entrepreneur, as an impact maker, there's going to be lots of reasons to be stressed and anxious. But so I don't want you keep dealing with the same thing because you've got other stuff that you've got to work on moving forward. So my goal is to get people to not be stressed and anxious about this, what they're stressed and anxious about right now. So very much focused on not having them deal with the same problems over and over and over and over again, because I don't have time for that. I don't want to be doing that in my life. I don't want you to be doing that either. So speaking of fears, there are 4 fears that keep you working harder than other business owners. My clients are kind, compassionate people. They love the world. Clearly, they want to make a difference, but there are certain fears that can keep them working harder in a self-sabotaging mode that isn't helping them, isn't helping their business grow in the pace that it could be growing. So 4 of them that can keep you working harder as a business owner than other business owners, right? And I'm not saying that I don't think you should work hard as a business owner. Some people are meant to work hard. Some people are meant to be doing a lot of stuff all day, working, and that's just how they're wired. Other people aren't meant to be working so much. They're supposed to be delegating and having other people so they can scale that way. So people are wired differently, but if there are fears driving the working, then it's going to be really tough to make the impact you want to make because you're standing in your own way with these fears. So as we clear these, the way to success is going to get a lot easier. You'll be able to be lighter. You'll be able to move faster. The first of these is you might be afraid that others will have certain reactions if you ask them to step up. So you might be doing a lot of work. You might be taking on a lot of the projects without having other people step up or delegating tasks to other people. And this can be really tough on yourself if you're always being the one who's just being like, I can do this, I can do this, I can do this. But deep down, you might be like, well, I don't know how they'll react to this, or that's not in their job description, or that's not what I asked them to do initially, or maybe they're too new, or I don't want to push them. They just had this life circumstance, so I don't know how I don't want to put too much on them. So we can make a lot of reasons why other people can't step up, and we have to keep doing the same thing. And that is especially true if you're afraid to lose the people on your team, or lose the investors, or lose your business partner, because losing these people can be very scary, especially if you are afraid that they'll react a certain way if you're asking them to step up. So being afraid of others' reactions can also be a form of abandonment issues. So if you are struggling with abandonment issues, your business can be definitely impacted by that. and I'm laughing because I've been there and I know the challenges of it. So I'm laughing with you. I often find things that we are standing in our way funny because I understand the challenges of it. But knowing how to ask others to step up in a way that it's like, I'm okay with their reactions and I know how to ask them to step up. This is kind of like the way I help clients. It's like doing the inner work and then also teaching people how to say the things that they need to say in a way that's direct and respectful, right? Because I don't want you going around and just yelling at other people, telling them that they're not stepping up and you're working all the time, because you've set yourself into this pattern, but you can also work your way out of it. So you definitely have options around that. And then the second fear that can keep you working harder than other business owners is believing you have to do everything. So it's like, no, it's my business. This is on me. I have to be the one to do the bookkeeping. I have to be the one to go change the toilet when the toilet's out in the business. I have to be the one doing the grant writing. I have to be the one doing all of the stuff in the business. And that can be exhausting and it can be draining, because as a business owner, you're very good at certain skills. You're very good at certain talents, but you can't do it all, right? There are certain people that are good at bookkeeping. There are certain people who are good at changing the toilet, right? What you are best at, it might be a couple of these things, but trying to do all of them and trying to learn all the skills might be slowing you down in ways that the way you're trying to help, the impact you're trying to make is going to be a lot slower, because it's like you can't focus on what you do best of growing the business, going after that vision that you have, trying to make your mark on the world when you are when you're getting like your attention is just being like drawn to different things that really other people can handle. So it's like looking at what you need to delegate and knowing how to go after that, and also let that go, because if you have any kind of trust issues, that can be really hard to let that go, and knowing how to let that go can be really tough, because people can have different kinds of trust issues. So if that's definitely something I work with clients on. It's like, how can you let this go and also not be working so hard as well, because the truth is you don't have to do everything as a business owner, and you really shouldn't be doing everything, because it's going to be tough to get everything done in a way and grow your business when you're just trying to solve the current issues. The third fear that can keep you working harder than others is your believing your business is behind. And I feel like this is common with business owners. You you have this long-term vision, you really want to see the world happen, and then things happen, right? Tax bills higher, this person on your team quits, investor drops out, the vision that you wanted, the sales that you thought were going to happen aren't happening. So it can be really hard when you feel like your business is always behind and you see people making a lot more progress than you. And I get that. But I feel like this is common as business owners, and it's really important to look at where you are at right now and look at all the things that you have accomplished, because if you keep learning from these things that keep piling up on you, then you're going to be a lot better business owner than someone who just had this perfect string of things going right, because it's like you learn a lot more from things going wrong than things going right all the time. But that can also be really frustrating. So I don't want to sit here and tell you that you're wrong and you shouldn't be feeling anything like that. So knowing how to deal with some of the challenges and the frustrations and not let those keep being a weight as you're trying to move forward is super important with that. And that's definitely something I help clients with. So if you want help with that, reach out to me. My clients get success really quickly, so we could maybe knock that out pretty quickly if you're willing to do the work. The fourth fear is feeling like you're not good enough for success. So you might be at a certain level and the next level comes knocking at your door. And it's scary to put yourself out there. It's scary to be more visible. It's scary to have more eyes on you that you weren't expecting, other than maybe friends and family, or especially for investor wise, it's like, can I friends and family investing on me in my business, my impact, that's great, but what if other people, other businesses start investing in you? What does that mean? That can be scary. But believing that you're not good enough is quite common with business owners, and I feel like it's just part of the journey. And knowing how to deal with this is the major thing, so it doesn't keep sabotage you moving forward. Because if you keep feeling like you're not good enough, then it's gonna be tough to make the steps needed to make the impact, because you're gonna be shutting those down and closing yourself off for those. So keep checking out your fears with business. Where you're scared with business is absolutely normal, but at the same time, you don't need to be working so hard and self-sabotaging yourself, because you need to be doing things like resting finding space to be creative, being bored is super important. The Mayo Clinic found that a study, they found that when they studied people who got bored and rested, they were able to be more creative. So there is a lot of evidence with how helpful it is to not be working all the time, slowing down, shutting your brain down, and doing other things. And if you have these fears, doing that's going to be really tough. So like I said, if you are wanting help with any of these 4 fears, if you see them holding yourself back, you know, you've got an impact to make, you've got stuff to do in the world, and these fears slowing you down isn't going to help you get there. My clients, like I said, get the results very quickly if they're willing to do the work. So if you want help with this, reach out and I will be happy to see if we're a good fit. And yeah, because you've got other things to do with your life. I want you out there making an impact. I want you out there being the fearless leader you are, but at the same time, emotions crop up and these fears definitely happen. So it's normal, but at the same time, knowing what to do with it is a good option. So I hope this video helped, and I will see you at the next time.